work to do and his go-to. But yes, pleasure to be here. And I hope everyone had their hole this morning. I realize that has a different connotation in Scotland, which is why I like to keep asking it. It's amazing what you can get away with when people think you're just a dumb American. I'm actually just a Canadian that enjoys double entendres. In fact, if I didn't have a bagel shop, I'd probably have a polo mint shop, just so I can keep asking the exact same question. Get your hole? How's your hole? Family. So, firstly, I just want to apologize for the title of this talk, The Whole Flow. It's been brought to my attention that the whole flow sounds like I'm here to talk about my pelvic floor. Hand out some information on that. You'll be happy to know it is not about that. The whole flow actually sounds, it's a reference to work and life balance. So, pelvic floor not seeming so bad now, right? Because that phrase, work and life balance, it's sort of feared and despised, you know? Like the phrase, let's take this opportunity to do some blue sky thinking. Or let's have a meaningful Brexit vote. Or Aberdeen Pleasure Beach. I should introduce myself. My name is Larah Bross, Mama Bross, I'm also known as that. I'm also known as the Bagel Lady. There's the Bagel Lady. Hi, it's me. I'm from Montreal, as Alex said, the bagel capital of the world, often confused with New York, who like to pretend they're the bagel capital of the world. It's a big mistake. See, New York like to shout about it. They're like, hey, we've got the best bagels. And Montreal, we're just like, no, we do, but we don't want to tell anyone so we could have more bagels. In Montreal, there's a bagel shop on every corner, 24-hour bagel shops, but you still go to the other side of the city to get your favorite bagels. Just like how here, like you'd sort of stop on your way home from a night out to get like your deep fried kebab, there you would stop to get your bagel. So if you wake up next to a half-eaten bagel on your pillow, you know you've had a good night. I went to theater school in Montreal. I graduated from theater school and I got a job working for Disney. I worked on cruise ships for 4 years, and that's where I met my Scottish man. It was kind of like a Miss Piggy, Kermit the Frog situation, but I got him in the end. And then I moved to New York to pursue my life as an actor, and I became an amazing bartender. And then I fell into this crazy career of cocaine, I mean comedy. My time in New York, though, I really fell in love with the people there, the buzz, the food, the delis. I used to take the white fish salad from Essa Bagel on 51st and 3rd before I drove home for the weekend. It takes 7 hours to drive to Montreal. And I would put that white fish salad in a Montreal bagel when I got there from St. Vader, and I would take a bite of it. And I remember it being like the best thing ever. And I didn't know it at the time, but that was the first Bross Bagels creation. But yeah, like New York, I could have stayed there, you know, I loved it, but for someone like me who doesn't need to sleep, it would have been the death of me. But cue Kermit to save moi from the big bad apple. And I'm like, what am I gonna do in Scotland? Because I become like 65 and very Jewish, more Jewish than I am right now. What am I gonna do there? But actually, it was 2006, and there was a heat wave, and it was the Fringe Festival, and I was like, this city's amazing. But it was missing two things. It was very obvious that it was missing air conditioning and bagels. And for the last 13 years that I've lived here, I've never needed air conditioning again. But bagels became a different story. My first 3 jobs in Scotland play a very important part of the whole flow story, so pay attention because there'll be a quiz at the end. My first job was Gilded Balloon. I got a job working at the box office there, and they quickly learned that I was way too loud to be wasted behind the desk, so they sent me out flyering. And this is when Tim Minchin and Russell Howard were just starting out, and they were like, who has been flyering for our shows? We are selling out. Well, it's because of me. So, to let you guys know, I made them. Okay. But I got a real taste for, you know, the comedy scene and how to sell a show. And I started thinking, you know, this is something that I should be doing. So I started hounding Karen Corrin, you know, do my own one-woman show the following year, sending her auditions by email, letters, posters. I went to her house, and before you even ask, those charges were dropped. So that's not the reason why she didn't give me my one-woman show in the first place. But imagine had she given me the show, Edinburgh would have never gotten their bagels, and we would have never partnered with them last Fringe to be, their main food vendors for the largest arts festival in the world. So, full circle. Tom Kitchen, my second job in Edinburgh, and another vital element to the flow. I came to the kitchen before they had their star, and it was through an agency. And on the first day, they asked me if I wanted a staff meal, and they told me, go into the kitchen to get your staff meal. So I walked in, and chef was like, Tom Kitchen, nice to meet you. And I'm like, Larah Bros, how's it going? And I'm like, where's the food? And he's like, who the hell is this? So I got shown the staff meal, and it was rabbit's feet and like lamb's testicles. And I was like, is there anything like vegetarian? And he's like, sorry, if you want to work here, you need to eat meat. And I'm like, no, I'm vegetarian. And he's like, yeah, no, you're not. He's like, try this. I'm like, what is it? He's like, bone marrow. I'm like, oh my God, this is so good. He's like, yeah. So this was, that's where I learned everything. I mean, not everything, but hospitality and the industry and suppliers and how to burn hairs off of pig's ears. And it's where I got my full-on foodie training. And then they started having kids, and I became their nanny. And chef used to make me take pictures of their lunch before I served it to them. Which is kind of like what I do now with bagels, so it's fine, just preparing all that thing. And so again, full circle. And when I decided that I wanted to open up a bagel shop, he was super supportive, and he helped me with all the suppliers, and he did some taste testing, and he told me that I would never be like him. But you never know, because we might be the world's first Michelin star bagel shop. We could get there. Thank you. My third job was the Stand Comedy Club. And it's just, this wee hidden gem downstairs on York Place in the cellar. And I remember I just walking in there, and I met some of the most miserable people I've ever met in my life there. But I love them. And I was obviously way too enthusiastic for their liking. So it took me a few years for them to warm up to me. But I started a sketch group there, and then I started doing some stand-up. And it really taught me who I really am. The only Jew in Scotland. Until I opened up a bagel shop, of course, and now there's loads of us. I'm now the poster girl for all the Jews in Edinburgh. #Jew it up, it's great. But no one ever laughed at my Jew jokes when I was doing stand-up. But now that I've got a bagel shop, it's okay now. But it was comedy that created Mama Bross's persona, because Ruby Wax was already taken. So I had to come up with another one. And people used to always say, do you know who you remind me of? Ruby Wax. It's like, yeah, I get it all the time. But again, full circle. So everything happens for a reason. And this is, these three first jobs were very important to this, as I said, flow. I recently opened up a time capsule for myself that I kept in the garage in Montreal. It was to be opened in 2017, the future. And it was a letter from myself, written to myself. When I wrote it when I was 10, and it was to be opened when I was 40. And it's like, hey, Larah, I know you're probably reading this backstage on Broadway. But I always wanted to be an actor, and I did some work. I did some films and plays, and I was doing some sketch comedy off Broadway in New York. But then I had to adapt. I had to write my own work, join an improv group, teach drama, entertain on cruise ships, start a sketch comedy troupe, do stand-up, go back to uni in film and television, learn production, be a runner, make documentaries, apply for a PhD. I mean, if something wasn't working for me, I'd move on to the next thing, and that was to keep myself challenged, inspired, and to keep my creative energy flowing. Thank you, one person. In 2017, when I got turned down from a fully funded PhD that I had been asked to apply for, I was shocked. I put everything I had into this application, and I was massively rejected. And for the first time, I think ever, I was stumped. And honestly, I felt like I had nothing to direct my creative energy into. I had nothing left to be enthusiastic about. Nowhere left to steer my enthusiasm. 6 weeks later, we opened up Ross Bagels. It was just an idea. It was something, I thought that would keep me busy from 9 to 3, something to help Mark pay the mortgage. I was gonna be able to, justify still doing some comedy that would not pay the bills, make a few coffees, fill a few holes. We had no idea that the first day we opened up the doors, there'd be a queue down the block and that it would turn into what it is today. When people first started calling me the Bagel Lady, I wasn't sure how to take it, I remember being at the gym and I was sort of like halfway out of my gym clothes trying to get changed, and I felt this sort of presence sort of walk behind me, take a double look, and then walk back again, and then sort of come around to the front of me, and she went, "You're the Bagel Lady." I was like, "Yeah, hey, how's it going?" And she's like, "Hi, nice bagels, by the way." But it's not something I ever wanted to be recognized for, and nothing to do with me being the performer that I always dreamed of being. But something clicked, and my inner drive sort of kicked in, and I did what I always do, and I gave it everything I got, and just like that, it became everything I ever wanted. I'm constantly challenged. I'm always being creative. I'm performing more than I ever have. And surprisingly, I'm being recognized for it, like in the street. And it's amazing. I love it. I can't believe what's happened in just over 2 years. It's exciting every single day. Being nominated for foodie awards, articles in in-flight magazines, radio interviews, documentaries, a raving review from Grace Dent who said, and I quote, "I came to Edinburgh to review Michelin star restaurants, and all I can remember 2 weeks later is the bagel I ate on Leaf Walk." Like, if I had a mic, I'd drop it, but it seems a bit silly. What was that one? We've done work. Sorry, going back to all my accolades here. We have done, just 2 days ago, I don't know if someone saw, Lonely Planet recognized us as being one of the top 10 places to eat in Edinburgh. If you guys think about it, we're expanding quicker than Greta Thunberg's school absence report. So. Collabs we've done with Ben & Jerry's, Gilded Balloon, Brooklyn Brewery, Observer Food Monthly Awards, Scottish Woman Awards, Scottish Comedy Awards. Take that, Karen Corrin. GQ Magazine, The Guardian. I was on Late and Live, guys. Featured on BBC's Hidden Gems. Our adverts are going viral. Meanwhile, I've got 2 kids, a loving man with a great accent, a dog, a house, a mortgage, birthday parties, laundry, school runs, doctor's appointments, friends, 2 knots in my shoulders that never, ever, ever go away, no matter how much someone presses them down. They're always there. But I have to keep the flow. And so everyone tells me to breathe. I don't know how, because it's impossible. Have a nap, do some yoga, stretch it out. I can't, I just have to keep going. That's the way that I work. At this point, I'd like to introduce my flow chart. I'm the core, the black empty hole. My flow is all around me. Each color represents a different aspect of my life. Love, traveling, talent, work, family, passion, goals, life, finances, motherhood, success, but there's only 3 colors. And that's because you can't juggle flow. You gotta go with the flow. Take it as it comes to you. Rise to the challenges. Give up on dreams, create new ones. Let go of your babies in life and in work. Let each flow inspire the next and allow them to transpire into a whole new flow that you never thought would be your kind of flow. How many times am I gonna say flow? As many times am I gonna say whole? So today, blue is my creativity. It's a talent that I have and I use to inspire and entertain. Thank you. Yellow is time. As we all know, as creatives in the industry, there's not enough of it in the day. Today is one of these days where it's going to be insane. I'm going to be rushing off from here to go record a podcast for RBS with other startup businesswomen, and then from there I have to go and pick up my 2 kids and then go project manage the next shop that's opening up in a few days in Brunsfield. Yeah. And then, by the end of the day, if I have enough energy to open up a bottle of red wine and sit on the sofa next to Mark, who I barely have anything left no emotions left to share. I try and watch something on Netflix. It just doesn't register. I'm just thinking about bagels. And the pink is, did I get to the pink? The pink was my family. I mixed them both up. So that the flow is all jumbled up, it's all, the pink is my family. And, I wish that my girls can take up more part of my flow, but sometimes they're not even in my flow, and you just have to roll with that. So many people ask me how I do it. How do you do it all? And I'm amazed that they think that I do. I didn't plan this bagel empire, but I also know it didn't just happen like that. My life has led me here. The experiences that I've had, the people I've met, the contacts I've made, and they've all allowed me, the way that I've allowed them to lead me into the next thing, giving everything that I've got has brought me here. Ross Bagels would not be what it is if I didn't put everything into it, and I wouldn't be such a good mom if I weren't fueled by the guilt of doing that. And here's the thing, I don't have the secret. I'm winging it. And also, there's no such thing as the whole flow. Work-life balance. At no point can you reach a stage of equilibrium where you're giving the right amount of time to each thing. Because, there's nothing has ever been achieved by a balanced person. Okay? If you want balance in your life, you have to go work for Standard Life. I'm a creative entrepreneur. I'm imbalanced. I thrive on my imbalances. The flow that I go with is not constant and steady. It's sporadic. It's temperamental and sometimes overwhelming. And to pretend to you that I have this under control would not be. It's a massive disservice to the job that I'm doing. But it's also not as easy as it sounds. Not being stressed about being imbalanced is very stressful. Having a successful business that is expanding quicker than I can control is very stressful. Being the kind of person where everyone expects you to be on all the time is very stressful. And trying to cure a hangover with a very messy chicken parm while driving a branded up Ross Bagels vehicle is very stressful. Is that the Bagel Lady? But I got peeps, I got my support network, and they're pretty fucking incredible. You can't manage a flow on your own. You need your peeps. My staff are incredible. If you've ever been to one of my shops, you'll know what I'm talking about. Give it up for the hole fillers. My forever friends who have helped me through all the crazy times. They've listened to all those horrible hole puns when I'm trying to name the bagel specials. But they've also, had to pay taxi drivers £50 after me getting too excited about a Grey Scent review and yakking all over the taxi. Give it up for Dave B. Mack. I've got my 2 baby girls who I love, and of course I love them. But it's great that they're there because sometimes I'm feeling I'm feeling no love at all, or when I'm being accused of gentrifying Leaf. So I'm gentrifying Leaf with a bagel shop. Trainspotting 3 is about these guys who are addicted to gluten-free pastries. But the bagel flow, the reason why you're all here today, the whole flow, this couldn't be achieved without my flow riders. It's a rap song now. Here, McAllister. My communications manager. He's one of the comedians I met at the first comedians I met at the Stand Comedy Club, who convinced me to do stand-up and who's been helping me write ever since. He's the mastermind behind our marketing campaigns. And if you missed the reason why Warburton's got Robert De Niro to be in a bagel advert, this is one of our best.
Hey, Scotland, Mama Ross here. Now you might or might...
People don't know you as Mama Ross.
People
Mama
know
Ross.
me. They shouted at me in the street.
That's not for the reasons you think they're shouting at you in the street.
Hey, Scotland, Mama Ross here. Now, Scotland, I know you've had some troubles in the past. I've watched all of Game of Thrones. Now, this is a really, really important time. I understand it's Brexit. This is coming...
I just don't think you should mention Brexit, Larah.
I understand.
Do you though? Do you really understand Brexit?
The English are trying to stop you from breeding with Europeans so that you can get your sheep back. What's there to understand? Have a bagel. It would make everything better. You got Justin Trudeau in charge. You know what happened to him? He ate a bagel, legalized weed.
Don't mention Brexit. Don't mention weed. Just sell the bagels.
Brexit is like weed. Just because a European can't give you your whole doesn't mean you can't get one. Mama Bross is gonna give you your whole.
Esther Clayton. The reason why any bagel shop anywhere has ever sold out of tote bags. The best thing that anyone has ever done with a circle since the invention of a bagel. Our branding is the work of a genius. And Mark Miller. Kermie. My life and business partner, a man who had the good sense to deny the majority of my relentless ideas until he said yes to bagels. He has, however, refused the name Papa Bross just because he didn't want anyone to think he was like a super fan of the pop group. If you've ever seen one of our bagels on Instagram and stop what you're doing right away to go and get one, blame Mark Miller. He is the whole image, and nothing I can say will be able to justify the art, the craft, and the beauty of this man's photography. So let's just have a quick look while I rap or something, I don't know. You guys hungry? It's a dirty Rachel. There you go. And it was my flow that pulled them all into the whole flow. And together we are the Flow Riders. If there was a take-home message from this talk, then I would ask you all to abandon your Brexit-like thinking to achieve something that is not going to happen, and instead just surf the surge, roll with the rise, embrace the storm, and remind yourself daily, I choose to be this. I am unstoppable. Thank you very much.